Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Rules Election and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. All of the members are here. We have a quorum. Mr. Clerk, you want to call the roll? Or somebody call the roll? Labange, Wesson, Weezar. Here. We're ready to go. I was looking at Patrice saying, what does he want me to do? Okay, now we have several items today, and I have some public comment cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up Mr. Herman and let you speak on all of the items. You'll be given 4 minutes. And you can start with, I guess we'll start off with item, let's do them in order. Do you want to read the items or?
Sure, Mr. President. Item 1 is support of SJR 4, which would place a statue of astronaut Dr. Sally Ride in the Capitol building. Item 2 is support of AB 1222, which would provide additional provisions to towing companies when they provide assistance to stranded motorists. Item 3 is support for the Truth and Justice Resolution regarding the Armenian Genocide. Item 4, support of AB 204, authorizing oversight boards to individual successor agencies to continue operating to wind down former redevelopment activities. Item 5, opposition to AB 1220, which would exempt cities and counties from levying local hotel taxes on residential short-term rentals. Item 6 is support for legislation seeking voter approval of a state ballot measure to provide funding for seismic retrofit. And item 7 is opposition to SB 608, which would prevent local jurisdictions from enforcing laws against camping on sidewalks and parks and vehicles in public streets.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to continue item 1, but I'm going to take the public comment on that item as well. So we'll start off with Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you've got 4 minutes. And just identify which item you're speaking to, and then you just roll through that. Do we have a timer? Yes, we do.
Mr. Speaker, I did sign up as David Siegel, S-E-I-G-E-L.
You signed up as Mr. Herman. Now, you want to waste your time on this?
So
this says
my
Herman.
question this
No,
morning,
you don't,
sir,
Mr. Herman. Stop his time and turn up. Look, you want to speak? The card says Herman. I called Mr. Herman. I'm going to allow you to speak for 4 minutes. Speak on the items. I told you, you're on every item. Just say what item, and then you speak. You have 4 minutes. Your time is done.
Here we go. So now we're talking about preventing encampment on sidewalks, a violation of the ADA. And I find that so offensive that today this resolution to prevent people against the Senator Lieu, who says people who are disabled, people who are homeless have a right to encamp on sidewalks, in parks, and in their vehicles, not be harassed by law enforcement, and you more so the local government, who prohibit them from enjoying what? So my point again, the rights to affect people and prohibit them on sidewalks, that's called discrimination, Herb Wesson, and you, Jose Weezar, and you, Mr. Labange. Local and state government and their instrumentalities, again, imposing eligibility criteria for people not to sleep on sidewalks, camp in parks. You don't even provide them subsidized housing, Section 8. So who's wrong in this criminal act against the people? You contemptuous, scornful, disliking of public interest to rest on a sidewalk, indulge in a park. So that's item 7, Herbie. Now I'm going on to item number 1. I want to thank Washington for accepting this gift on behalf of we, the public. Of course, we have our special guest speaker, Mr. Wayne from Second.
Stay on the item.
I am. We're talking about a place for Dr. Sally Ride in the National Statuary Hall and the United States Capitol building that we, the public, have provided the provisions of monies to erect this statue. I'm on topic, Herb. Don't disrupt me.
Stay on the topic.
And again, I filled out a card on item 2, which Mr. Big Ears England will be in the next meeting, and it talks about state legislative project support for AB 122 Bloom that will provide additional provisions to towing companies when they provide assistance to the standards of motorists. I don't know what the F this really means, except it sounds discriminatory, sounds racist. What? Provide additional provisions to towing companies? I thought the city of LA was in a business of making business, not taking bribes or corrupting the system with this towing agency. And in my last 55 seconds, I'm going to go back to item 7, sir, because I didn't wish to close it because you said I had a total of 4 minutes. I just want to say that I'm against you taking away the rights of people in parks. In my hand, I have this booklet called Understanding the ADA, American with a Disability Act. When I was at the expo in the convention center last month, and you arrogant people continue to discriminate against the public who are homeless, disabled, poor, and more poor, because you raise the taxes, you don't fix our sidewalks and streets, you make these provisions totally unacceptable. So what's my point? You're incompetent to function as a local government. That's my point. Thank you.
Okay, here, you might as well take your last minute for public comment, Mr. Herman.
What's my time, sir? 1 minute? I was here at 8 o'clock. 1 minute? Fine. Now to the arrogance of our council. Let me remind you that removal of barrier to one or more major classes of individuals with disabilities, such as persons who are blind, deaf, and persons using wheelchairs. You continue not to provide Section 8. You continue not to provide adequate housing for the homeless. You have disregard for humanity. And yet, you had Mr. David Seagal at council chambers talking about the Holocaust. This is genocide. This is a Holocaust against the homeless population in Los Angeles and the great state of California, the golden state that you corrupt, abuse, and defraud the public by your incompetent, like Jose Huizar, who can't even fix our sidewalk and streets in Boyle Heights. Take the barrier down on Marengo because, again, DOJ's on you, and you got to fix the park at Hazard
Thank you.
Park.
Your time is expired. Okay, Mr. Spindler, how many cards do you have in? Okay, you'll get, I'll give you 3 minutes plus your general public comments, so come on.
I have 3 cards, so I should go.
No, you have more than that. Here, just go.
He got 4
No,
minutes.
look, just go on and speak.
You
On the subject.
you have to give me up to 5 minutes.
No, you didn't have as many cards as his. You have 4 cards.
Right. So
So you're wasting your time.
1 minute each.
No, just go on and speak. I gave you 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes.
3 minutes plus public comment.
So why can't I get 5 minutes like
You can debate about this all you want. You're losing your time. You're not going to get any
I'm
of it
winning.
back.
I'm winning it because it shows your corruption.
No, you are not on the
It
subject.
shows your corruption.
It's not on
No.
the subject, Mr. Spindler.
Now, anyway, as you can see, there's not a quorum. As you can see, you don't have 3 members on this panel, so
You can't count.
I see one little head there. Oh, she's hiding there in the white. Okay. Where's your gold jewelry? Okay, now, let's get to number 7. The Democrat National Communist Party of California wants this bill. Why are you, the same party, opposing your own party to allow these nice people to camp on our sidewalks and parks? It's time to give up on housing. It's time to give up. I'm going to give up. I'm going to go get a trailer and live on the streets and sell all my shit and live on the streets and park for free. I support this SB 608. Thank you, Lou. Thank you for the Right to Rest Act. We have to have the right to rest. Now, speaking of resting, we get to item 1 for the dead lady and a statue, Sally Ride. Why are we spending money on putting statues in the Capitol building? Was she one of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence? What the hell's it doing in the Capitol building? What the hell is she doing at Sally Ride? What does she have to do with the founding of the nation? Passing legislation, freeing slaves, opposing the Dred Scott Act, taking black people off the back of the bus. Nothing. If you want to put the statue of a lady in the Capitol, Rosa Parks is the lady you put a statue to. That's the lady. Biggest, bravest woman ever. And I have to do the same thing that she did. I'm on the back of the bus, driven by Herb Wesson over the financial cliff. And that's why I'm here. Please, little committee members, please support item 7 and let them camp on the streets. Please let them
Thank you. Your time has expired. All right, now let's go through the items. So like I said, item 1, we're going to continue. And now let's go, Miss, is it 7? And I have Carol Schatz on item 7. So if we could read item 7. No applause. Please come forward, Ms. Schatz.
Carol Schatz, President of the Central City Association, the Downtown Center BID. I speak for bids all over the state. In LA, South Park, Chinatown, Gateway to LA. We strongly oppose this bill because it does not help homeless individuals and it will greatly compromise the health and safety of our communities. It is an inhumane and wrong way to help people living on the street. It will tie the hands of the business improvement districts who have outreach programs with the homeless because they are identified as harassing behavior if we approach a homeless person and ask them if they need help. It is not a good thing to allow people to deteriorate on the street. If they are living in parks and on the street, they are peeing and pooping on the street and in parks. That is a public health issue. We urge you to oppose this bill because it will institutionalize the encampments that we have and you see daily when you drive to City Hall.
Thank you. Do we have CLA to come forward to? Why don't you give us a status report as to where this is in the Capitol, any amendments and things of that nature?
Sure. Josh Drake from the CLA's office. Right now it's just been referred to committee and it hasn't really moved yet. I've heard that there's not a lot of movement. It's been referred to both Senate Committee on Transportation and Housing and the Judiciary Committee, so it will take a little bit longer to get through the committee process.
Now, were there some amendments, recent amendments, or?
I haven't seen any recent amendments since Tuesday or Wednesday.
And so our recommendation is to do what? Or the recommendation?
We're recommending adopting the resolution to oppose this bill because it doesn't address the root causes of homelessness. It doesn't give the city any resources to assist with getting these people off the street and into treatment or whatever. And it also would probably cost the city and business improvement districts money because of an aspect of the bill where they allow $1,000 civil actions against police officers and security guards and bid security for harassment. So, for these reasons.
I got you. Well, generally, I don't support issues that limit the city's ability to govern itself. So personally, I would support the recommendation, but are there any other comments? Mr. Weezer?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and I too would support opposing this bill because, again, they are treating the symptoms and not the causes of homelessness. Most of these individuals on our streets cannot afford a place to live, have mental health issues, and we have fallen way short of providing those types of resources. And any solution to dealing with our crisis on our streets of LA should focus on providing more housing and providing more social services to them, and not just making it tougher for us to deal with our local regulations that we're trying to accomplish either through the court system or a new regulatory system that will help us keep our streets safe and clean. So I think this is adding, will make it a lot more problematic for us here locally, and it's a good thing for us to oppose this bill. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Labange, did you have any?
I concur with my colleagues.
Okay, then, without objection, we'll adopt the CLA report and the resolution on this item. Thank you for all your work, Josh. Okay, let's move on.
Just I wanted to thank Carol Schatz for her leadership consistently in Los Angeles.
And that we all echo that sentiment. Let's go through we continue to item 1. Why don't we go through items 2 through 5? So we've already read them, so we don't have to read them again. So look, so this is primarily our consent agenda. So on item 2, if there's not any objection, we'll adopt the CLA report and resolution. On item number 3, it would be the same recommendation to adopt the CLA report and resolution. Item 4, adopt the CLA report and resolution, and the same with item 5. To adopt the CLA report and resolution. So without objection, these items will be deemed approved. That brings us to item 6. Mr. Labange, did you want to speak on item 6?
I just wanted to check if there's staff here for that item.
Okay, do we have staff to speak on item 6? Here.
Good morning, Councilman. Roberto Mejia, Office of the CLA, and we prepared the report in support of the resolution by Councilman Labange and Mr. Wesson in support of a state ballot measure that would provide funding such as bond financing for seismic retrofit programs in the city.
Thank you, and I know Assemblyman Nazarian did something on this, but we want to do more because the earthquake and its fault system knows no city boundary. It's throughout the state of California.
Very good, and it's similar to a past resolution that you introduced last year, Councilman.
Thank you so much.
Okay, again, Mr. Labange, thank you for bringing this to this committee and the council. So without objection, on item 6, we'll adopt the CLA report and the resolution. Madam Clerk, are there any additional items that are before this committee?
No, Mr. President.
Do we need to we don't need to give a date. I continued item 1, so we don't have to give a date as to when we're going to bring it back. Okay, there are no more items before this committee. This committee is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.